Hey guys, it's Denise. I am here to introduce myself as Croneposse. And so this is going to be my very first vlog where I'm kind of talking about my new journey as a 63-year-old unemployed woman and trying to figure out what's next. And so just a little bit about me recently. So I walked away from my last job. I voluntarily unemployed myself at the age of 63. And there was just so many things going on there that I had a problem with, and I felt disrespected. And so I have never walked off a job before, but I just felt that I had already put a line in the sand so many times. And eventually it always got stepped over, and I got a feeling that my boss basically thought he could just get away with it. And if I didn't like it, I could find the door, which is basically where I always ending up at jobs. And so I left that job, and I've had many interviews. I actually have had a couple of jobs that I was hired for. But for me, for the first time in my life, I chose to walk away from these jobs because I could see problems ahead. And one of the jobs was actually a very, very cool job that I thought, this is it. This is the last one before I retire. I am going to work at this organization that was a long time company in the, I guess, tourist area. And I live in a very touristy city, and it was a good fit for me, I felt. But once I work in the financial world, and so I was hired there as a staff accountant. Once I actually was in the books and vetting the AP department, and I could see there were very old bills that hadn't been paid from previous quarters, and they were large amounts. And so I just had this gut feeling of get out of here, and I did. Have I had regrets? Yes, I have, and it's been scary. And so I've continued, and there's been interest in me and interest in my resume, and I've had a lot of second interviews. In fact, I had one last week, and basically they were communicating to me that I was the star, actually told me as such, and I have no idea why, because then eventually they just decided to go with someone else. I mean, what's the problem? I don't understand why I can't be employed, because I'm definitely employable. And for the first time in my life, I was actually being paid what I felt I deserved in the way of salary. And so it's just a bit weird. I don't know if it's the hair. And so I started asking people, should I just dye my hair? Is that what the problem is? Do I look too old for them? And so I do let people know that I'm planning on working until full retirement age, even though they're not asking. Maybe I shouldn't be volunteering this information. I really don't know. But I don't feel that I look my age. And so I feel confident in my presentation, at least, if nothing else. So I guess it's been a bumpy ride. I'm not getting unemployment, and so I had savings, and so you'd be surprised, it was almost 10K. Went through that very quickly. Then I sold my car, which luckily I got a very, very decent price for that. And so I was able to live off that, my husband and I, for quite a few months. And then we sold gold jewelry, and I still have a jewelry collection. But people, when they find out that you're selling your, beloved items, it's like a shark mentality shows up. And it's very, I wanted to say it's horrifying, the feeling of people trying to take advantage of you and offering you way less than what the pieces are worth. And so I just decided to keep something that I'm not going to sell it. I'm just not that desperate. Even if I was, I think I would just give things away. But it's been an eye opener. And I'm not one of those people typically that is a poor me person. And so I don't get a lot of empathy or even sympathy from people. And I don't expect it either. I'm used to making my own way. And so it's very uncomfortable for me right now because I'm not really able to do that. And so luckily my husband, who is not a U.S. citizen, is able to work under the table, low-paying jobs, but he's very hardworking and he makes it happen. And so that's what's keeping us afloat. So this week I finally just decided, and somebody had mentioned it to me, about just apply for Social Security. But I thought I was too young. And truth be told, I had heard in another influencer's video that when she would apply for jobs, people would ask her, "Why are you applying, here?" And she responded, "Retirement." And I mean, I have felt that very thing through all of my working life, including, working in the financial world as an accountant, where I have major imposter syndrome. And so my background is in the performing arts, and I'm sure you can see that from my how animated I am, and comfortable in front of the camera, and hopefully that reads okay. But I have hated my entire working life. I felt like I was playing a role, and so when I could deal with it on that level, I felt that I did well. But the last, 4 or 5 years working in accounting, I've started to hate it more and more because of the attitude of small business owners and managers, and the greed and the disrespect, not just of myself, but for other employees, and expecting me to give agreement to that. And so I just, started to feel burnt out on that, even though I love the job. And most of the time, I love everybody that I work with. And I'm assuming the feeling is mutual. So I looked into it, and it looked like I could start collecting some Social Security. And so I applied. And it was very confronting because I was counting on working until I was 70, even though I did not want to. And I am going to be, very, very, we are frugal. My husband and I are frugal ordinarily. And so even more so because the amount that I'd be paid for Social Security is not even half of what I would be earning ordinarily. So I have to find some other solutions. And I was hoping to end up working part-time eventually. And then hopefully I can be one of the lucky ones to get monetized here on YouTube. And I have many stories. Some of them are really funny stories, but mainly it's just kind of putting my experience out there and feeling good enough to share this with you, and that you'll be listening, and you'll be wanting to know more about me and more about what I'm going through and what I'm hearing out there from some of the videos that are coming my way. I think I'm in good company with a lot of you. I have much respect. Shout out to Silver and Solo and Less Hustle, More Coffee, because I love your stories, and of course Little Poet. So in the background, you probably can't see it or hear it, but my little dog is barking in his sleep, Sky. And so I know it's a bit dismal in here, and I hope the sound isn't too bad, but I don't have a microphone yet, and I have a very old Mac, so hopefully we'll be upgrading some of those things soon, and I have much to share with you. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe and share this with anybody else that may need to share this and hear this. And so people will know they're not alone out there. I mean, in terms of services, I've tried applying for Covered California, but I was told I made too little money. And so I would qualify for Medi-Cal, myself and my husband. And when I never heard back from Medi-Cal, I called them and they told me, oh, we just got a brand new computer system, so we're running a bit behind. And I said, oh, okay, but I signed up for, when did you sign up for Covered California? And I said, February, and it's now, July-ish. And so they said someday they'd be in touch, they would move my application along. So there's no medical coverage yet, no dental, nothing for us. And so it's good to know that in a city where you've been a long-time taxpayer, that if something happened to you, there'd be nothing. There'd be no services for you. I don't qualify for food stamps. It's scary and it's sad. And so we've just done everything we can so far. Now we have a roommate. And so that situation is less than ideal. And so this is what we do. And at the same time, I'm grateful that I have my health. And so I'm grateful for the extra time for myself. And so I'm exercising every day now. And I'm trying to focus on myself, my mental health, and to work on this channel, to share some message of positivity, hopefully, and hope. And planning on doing a daily vlog for the next 10 days. And I hope somebody listens. I hope somebody tunes in, because I want to hear from you, and I need the support. I need the community. So I thank you all for your listening and your witnessing. And God bless all of you, and I look forward to hearing from you.